What's going on, guys? My name is Ben, and this is the first episode of Car Talk within Roadrunner Reviews. So if you're not familiar with my channel, I am a car enthusiast. I love cars. I'm going to be talking about cars, reviewing cars, test driving cars, anything and everything about cars. So if you like cars, which I hope you do if you're clicking on this video, check out my channel. Look at a couple other videos and let me know what you think. But for today's video, as you're clicking in, I'm going to be talking about the 2020 Chevrolet Corvette and why it's the car of the year. Now, this year, to say the least, is going to be, or it's turning out to be such an interesting year. It's probably one of the most dramatic year I've had in my whole life, especially with what's going on right now with the whole disaster and everybody sheltering in place. It's very scary times for a lot of people, many people losing their jobs. However, there is still some bright news. A lot of people are still finding new ways to be creative. They're relearning things about themselves they didn't know, me included, especially with doing something like this channel, and really focusing on things that just make me happy and get through the day. So I'm waking up before work and trying to do a video just so I can get more stuff out there. But let's not hold off anymore. The 2020 Chevrolet Corvette is, in my opinion, the car of the year, and not just mine, Edmunds and Car and Driver. There's many other awards that have been given to this car, and it's only been a few months of release. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of these car YouTubers are running out and buying these cars, because they know it creates great content. It's supercar-like performance, and it basically is something that's new and different that nobody really has seen, and everybody's really kind of anticipating and wanting to take a look at. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit more. Let's start off with 5 reasons why I like this car and the 5 reasons why it's the car of the year. Starting off with the most obvious reason, number 5, the fact that the car is a mid-engine car. For 60 years, Chevrolet has put the motor in the back of, or in the front of the car, and it has been, that's, you know, their style, that's their design, that's their secret sauce. But now that they put it in the back, they completely engineered a whole new formula, and everybody's interested to see how that's worked, because there's not a lot of car manufacturers completely changing a flagship car to be something completely different. With Chevrolet, this is something that I'm glad they're experimenting with, and I'm glad they're doing this now, because I feel like this is going to set precedents for the company moving forward, especially if this car really does that well as it's supposed to. But for the mid-engine, there is advantages to having a car that's mid-engine. It's supposed to have a lower center of gravity, better balance, better braking, better performance in the cornering for the car and stuff like that, and overall just a more mean-ass look. So I do like the look of the car. I love that they did that, and it just changes dynamics so much. And it also puts it in the same category as other high-end luxury cars like the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, McLaren, just to name a few. So I mean, this is excellent company to be within. The number 4 reason I believe that this car, the Chevrolet Corvette, is the 2020 car of the year, is going to be the performance. Performance, it does 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. 2.8 seconds. For a car that's not even 400 or 500 horsepower, to me, that's mind-boggling. I want to know how they did that. That has to be an excellent either transmission or really efficient use of car, or the just car's so light it just flies. It could be a combination of everything. But it's a 6.2 liter V8 motor. It has 490 horsepower with 470 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if you do the Z51 package, you add a little bit more horsepower, around 5, so that adds a little bit to it. This car also does a quarter mile in 11.2 seconds. So, I mean, it's not slow at all, but it does sound like it kind of tops out. So I'm interested, after the 60 miles an hour, how does the motor climb? Does it really climb to that top speed, 194 miles an hour, within a reasonable time, or is it really just like laggy after a certain amount of time? So that's what I'm curious to know, if the power falls off at a certain point. And unfortunately, there's no manual gearbox in this car. I think we gotta come to realization that in the future we're gonna slowly see less and less of these. I do wish they put it on this car. Hopefully it might come in the future model, the Z06, but we'll see, or the Z01, we'll see. But yeah, overall performance, I've heard people talk about the braking is subpar. Which is kind of sad to hear. The acceleration is excellent, supercar acceleration numbers. Top speed 194. Come on, Chevrolet, get it to 200. You're right there. You're like Why not just get it to 2? Why not? I mean, Bugatti chases that numbers like crazy. They just want to get that 1 miles per hour. But from what I heard, when you get up to that range, every time you go up 1 or 2, 3 miles an hour, how much that costs the company in research and design, and how much you sacrifice in the car overall value, you know, who's to say? But let's also keep in mind that this car is naturally aspirated. So if you put on, like, I know Hennessy down in Texas is putting on superchargers and creating almost 1,000 horsepower. So you get 1,000 horsepower in this car, 200 miles an hour is nothing. It's gonna happen. 0 to 60 is even faster. So this car is gonna be interesting. Now, one thing I'm, you know, focusing on kind of seeing in the future is, you know, how reliable is this car, especially because this is new engineering for Chevrolet. This is the first time they put the motor in the back. So will this car last a long time? Will it actually last a while? I mean, only you will know in the future. So this is all kind of hindsight right now. But yeah, number 4 reason, performance. Number 3 reason why this car is a 2020 car of the year is gonna be the exterior. I mean, look at it. It has a low center of gravity. It looks beautiful. It has aerodynamics to it that really give it that supercar presence. I think that it's a very beautiful car to look at. The front end is very angular, has that Stingray, of course, theme that they're going for, with the wide flares with the short nose. It's kind of pointy in the front, and then you have the sides where you have a really nice side vent arrows, and then also side skirts on the bottom. I think that the car looks really menacing. I do wish that, I don't know what it is about the wheels, I just don't like the wheels. I think that everything else is, you know, really, really great, but the wheels just don't do it for me. There's, I believe, 4 different type of wheels you can choose from when you buy the car. Even the most expensive ones, which I believe are around $5 grand, they just don't do it for me. And I know that there's 100 or thousands of different other wheel developers and manufacturers that make better quality and better looking wheels. So I'm probably just gonna go with the aftermarket product if I were to end up buying this car. So that's the easy thing to change. As far as the rear of the car, I love the quad exhaust. I love the way the back end kind of lifts up, and it just kind of gives it that really demanding presence. I like the LED lights in the back. I also like the LED lights, daytime running lights in the front. So those look really nice, Chevrolet. But I think overall, this car has a really great refresh look. I mean, because they put the motor in the back, it's a brand new car. It's not something that shares a lot of features with the previous generations, which, if you're familiar with cars, every car manufacturer does, you know, for economic reasons, just repeat, you know, change a few things here and there. But to completely refresh a car takes years and years of engineering and years of development, research and development. So I'm glad that Chevrolet really planned out to come out 2020 with the bang, even though a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen in our lives. But at the same time, this is one of the few bright spots of 2020. Now, it would only be injustice if we didn't go from the exterior and jump right into interior for the second reason why it's the car of the year. The interior of the car, just like the exterior, is completely refreshed, all brand new. The cabin is very plush, it's very luxurious, but it really has a sporty look to it, and the sporty kind of feel to how everything's direction towards the driver, as far as the buttons, the infotainment system, and the dash in the cockpit of the car. I do love the fact that they really spent a lot of money in research and development on the technology. I felt that that was something that a lot of American car manufacturers are lacking in, is the tech on the inside, and also the cabin feel. I mean, European cars are excellent at making interiors, and I'm gonna be honest, you spend most of the time inside the car. So if you spend all this money on a car and the interior actually sucks, it's really kind of disappointing to me. So I'm glad that they made this car base really beautiful, a really kind of fighter cockpit feel. I love that they really made the headliner black. I love that they really continued to dash and gave it that unique elongated look to it. I think that from just judging off what I see on photos and the videos, the button layouts are pretty seamless to understand. I do love the fact it has heads-up display, and there's a lot of safety features in the car that you wouldn't think to find in, you know, 490 horsepower Chevrolet Corvette. But that's just the type of value that Chevy was going for. I do love the fact that it has 12 feet of cubic storage space as far as the trunk. So there's 2 trunks in the car. There's one in the front because there's no engine, and then there's one behind the engine in the rear. So the one behind the engine in the rear is able to fit a golf bags, luggage. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, let's just say this, for example. Acura NSXs cost $180,000 brand new. They have 3.9 cubic square feet of space. This has 12.8. The new Toyota Supra, it's a front engine car. It should have a big trunk. I mean, you have a front engine car, you have all the space in the rear behind the driver to fit. That only has 9.8 cubic square feet of space. That's it. I mean, the Chevrolet has more, and it still is able to fit engine in the back and storage space, and it's just impressive. I mean, that's been kind of Corvette's secret sauce for many years too, is they wanted to be different from Porsche and all the other Ferraris, to be able to fit more in the car, to add to the value of it, of why you would choose it. And to be honest, it is a selling point for me, because a lot of supercar owners, especially YouTubers, they go out and bring all their camera gear, they realize they don't have nowhere to put it. But that's a small price to pay when you're driving other cars. So I don't know anybody that's really too worried about that, but that is something that in the back of your mind, you're just like, man, I wish they had this. So I'm glad Corvette has it. And now I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. Number one reason why you should buy the 2020 Chevrolet Corvette, and the reason why it's winning all these awards, is the value of the car. It is a tremendous value. I mean, this car starts off at $59,000. $59,000, 2.9 second car, V8 with almost 500 horsepower. This is almost a supercar at $59,000 starting. That is very impressive. And you gotta understand, even though you might not be a Corvette fan, the fact that they provide this amount of value is going to put the pressure on other car manufacturers to really produce something that can be of better value. So what happens when you're in an environment of competition? Everybody's gonna be more competitive. Let's be honest, the car community is very competitive as far as capturing the attention of a lot of people. The Corvette has successfully done it after so many years of being kind of behind the scenes. They stepped in the front limelight, and I feel like they really delivered. And this is really gonna be something like, I would like to see the Dodge Viper come down in price. I would like to see other cars really be more competitive with the price point of this, to be able to provide more value, guys. And I had to pull out my phone because I don't remember all these. I just thought of this video right now. So the 1LT base model starts out around $59,000, which I just talked about, and the options can make it go all the way up to 80, just depending on what you buy. And then there's other leverages and models that the 1LT, the 2LT, the 3. So in this, they don't have the 06 yet, or the 01 that's going to be coming in future years. This car basically is a car that, if you're a supercar enthusiast, or you're a car enthusiast and you really want, and you're an everyday person, I mean, you're just not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have other priorities like a family, like food, like shelter, and you're worried about investments and other things, but you're still a car enthusiast, and you still really want a car that could really, you can take out and be a part of the supercar group. This is the car. And on an everyday salary, if you work hard and save up, you can really buy a car and not want to shoot yourself because you just spend a lot of money on a bad investment. Let's be honest, I don't care who you are, unless you have a car that's appreciating in value, which is less than 1%, and if it does, you're not driving it, then you're gonna not feel bad or guilty buying this car. And that brings more people into the car community. And if anybody's hating on that, I gotta say, like, why? Why you have so much hate for other people wanting to be in the car community? It's a big community, and to be honest, it's not big enough. I feel like more people should be interested. I was always interested in cars my whole life since I was very young, but I had suppressed a lot of my passion because I wanted to focus on making money and doing other things. And now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing, why am I suppressing my passion? Go for it, especially right now. So I just feel that this car is something that is tremendous value. I want to do a video on it. I don't have it in front of me yet. I'm trying to find somebody that has the car, but because it's just come out and because everything is going on, it's very rare. So hopefully one day I have the channel to the point where I could just go out and buy one and then do reviews on it, but I don't yet. But in the meantime, I'm gonna practice. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I appreciate you stopping in. Do me a favor to help support the channel, subscribe, like the video, and then also comment below if you have the time to say, hey man, good job. I appreciate everybody that watches this channel. I'm going to continue this year to produce content. Hopefully by the end of the year I have 1,000 subscribers and I can really get the ball rolling on doing more YouTube videos. So again, man, appreciate you for watching. You guys have a blessed day.